go around, and the nonprofit developer who administered it was, I'm just forgetting their name. Anyway, they reimbursed very quickly, but, it's a process like anything else.
So the money comes from HRH ultimately. They're distributing the funds.
They're distributing the funds, right, but it's state money, yes.
But they're not involved in the building or the...
No, but they do provide technical assistance. So they will come out and they will look at your home and they will, assist you in moving forward and finding a contractor and doing that kind of work. And they are paid to do that. So in this grant program, we're kind of going back and forth to two different things, so I hope it's not too confusing. But the 1+ ADU program, the total grant amount is actually $125,000, but the administrator is paid 10% of that to provide technical assistance, to process paperwork, to process these payments, which is kind of typical in these programs.
And having been the chair of the housing board before Charlie, I started working on this 7 years ago, I think. The problem with ADUs has always been that there's no financial incentive. In Wassaic, I know a number of elderly single people living in a Victorian house, and if they had an incentive to make an apartment in their house, it would allow them to stay where they are. It just seems to me that it doesn't change the physical character of the neighborhood. So in that way, it seems like the kind of easiest way to get more units.
Is there full discretion on the part of the homeowner who's doing this ADU on who they rent to? I mean, so these houses are not like, a lottery thing where HRH gets to pick who goes in there?
Oh, no, there is, no, HRH doesn't approve the tenant that you.
So if I
rent to.
have an ADU, I can choose who I want to rent to?
Yes.
So there's two things, like you said. There's the ADUs that's already on our books, and now we're talking about a tax exemption.
Yeah, we just allow ADUs, so there's no incentive to build an ADU or anything like that.
Right.
Like, you can build one, you not, whatever. This is passing a tax exemption.
Mm-hmm.
And again, by the way, it's also not like $80,000 of construction value add to it. It is what the assessor deems is the increased assessed value of what your house was before the ADU and what it is after.
And it's up to 80.
It's up to 80.
So you could build
yes.
an ADU right now with no limitations really other than following town code. But if we do they choose a tax exemption, then there's a limitation of 8 to 10 years.
No, there's no limitation of anything. The 8 to 10 years is how long you get the exemption for, not limitation as to what you build or when you need to take it. You don't have to take it away.
Right,
you
the
build it.
limitation is, the 8 to 10 years that you have the exemption for.
Yeah, the 8 years of the
8
exemption.
years?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will
Okay.
return to this.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlie, for passing on that information. I had mentioned this before, the meeting of the meeting of the board chairs that both Ken and Judy were at the last one. Talked about making some improvements to the downtown, and that is likely going to require us to hire a landscape architect or an engineer to take a next step in terms of doing I know that Recreation is already sort of starting a project in terms of outreach and getting information through that. This would be kind of similar, but I wanted to see if we could I wanted to see if I could get the consent of the board to put out an RFQ for a landscape architect or an engineer to start looking at streetscape issues, the traffic crosswalks, a whole bunch of stuff that has been discussed in that meeting and discussed elsewhere, so that planning can get started.
So I thought you just said that we needed to do an RFQ, or we needed to get a landscape architect to do the Fountain Square formal drawings. Is this something different then?
No, I was hoping that this person could be
Do both?
selected, and then that would be the first projects they work on.
That's in their choice.
I'm sorry?
I see what you're saying, you got it here, Deborah. You got it in two issues.
Right.
Well, he mentioned it in his report about Fountain Square.
Right,
And-
which we have to do that for Fountain Square because the New York State DOT requires it because it's in the right of way. So that,
So we need them to
we
produce
have
drawings
no
for
options
bidding.
to do
Right.
that. I mean, that's, or.
So
we-
RFQs for landscape architect for Fountain Square, but you want to also inquire about the streetscape project?
I think that when we mentioned connecting the dots, that was a dot, Fountain Square. I'm sorry, that Beekman Park was a dot and Fountain Square was a dot. So the point is that we don't have a sort of a consistent approach to the downtown and the sidewalks and the lighting and all of that stuff.
The only suggestion I would make to that second piece, you know, like I said, we have to for the Fountain Square, but I hesitate to go too much farther when we haven't gotten the information back from what, we hired a consultant for to update the comprehensive plan. I would rather wait to do all that other stuff until we see the results of that, you know, rather than start on something and then have that come back and it's not, they don't match. I just hate to see us go off in too many different directions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you had raised that earlier, Ken.
Yeah, and the Engage Media rough draft is coming in, should be in today.
That's great.
So at least you'll be, as Roseanne said, moving in sync with all of your projects.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, an RFQ has to be written and then sent out.
Right, but I
so-
would rather have them be separate. I mean, can we do an RFQ for Fountain Square? And then
We certainly
the
can.
thing comes back and they say to this guy, okay, can you give us another RFQ
Yeah.
for the rest of what we need done?
Yeah, we can do that.
Makes sense.
Okay. Square. Okay. The highway garage bond, I mean, when we discussed this the last time, everyone's seemed to be in favor of proceeding with that. But we didn't actually take a vote or make a motion or get a sense of the board. So is everyone on board with talking to the board, the bond?
Council?
Council, yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
And I saw that we got our bat survey was done.
I'm sorry, the bat survey was
done
completed, yes.
and that they identified possible habitats for bats, and apparently it's all dead trees.
That's what they like, actually.
Yeah,
but-
that's what I'm saying.
But it's right, but it seemed like it was a limited number of trees, so that means
Right.
that the highway crew can start removing the ones that are not marked as bat habitat. Okay. Brad, social media policy is you.
Oh, we are doing that, okay.
Oh. Wait a minute, wait, I'm sorry. Did I say that we were gonna hold on that?
I
So I
thought
think you were
so.
gonna just say what you were gonna do, right?
Well, I have a draft of what it is, or I could just say what I have, it all depends.
Or you could say that you have a draft and that you're gonna send it out to everybody.
So I've been doing some research for some time on a social media policy for the town of Amenia, and I have put together something in writing, and it's being vetted right now. I've sent it to the town attorney, and he's in the process of reviewing it. And my hope is to have a draft to the board member to review here once that is done.
I'm sorry.
Good.
So thank you, Brad, for doing that. So you send it to, you said you sent it to Ian,
Mhm.
and he's gonna send it to you, and then you'll send it to us, and then
Yep,
maybe at the next
yep,
meeting?
Yep, I have a summary of it if you want me to read it, but that's what I was asking.
I have not yet had an opportunity to review it, but I will review it, and then I can circulate it.
Yeah, so I'll hold off on my summary.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There
So
you go.
I'll work with Brad. We'll hammer out the details and then circulate it for next meeting.
Oh, and it also includes pages for the Ethics Committee and also the Employee Handbook, which I think it should be part of.
Wait, I'm sorry, say that
Okay.
again. It includes,
I included written sections, I customized it for the Ethics Committee
okay?
and also the Employee Handbook, because there's nothing in the Employee Handbook on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, the zoning changes. So I've been talking to Jason, the town prosecutor, about some of the obstacles to prosecuting some of the long-term zoning violations in town. And one in particular, there are issues about junked vehicles, and according to our zoning law, a junked vehicle means that it is a vehicle that is, a vehicle is permitted if it's registered. The problem with that is that it doesn't mean that it operates, it hasn't been inspected, it doesn't necessarily have license plates. So he had suggested several things in the zoning law that are very vague, and that he had suggested sharpening up, because it would make it easier for them to prosecute if these things were made clear, spelled out. So I was going to ask him to just give me a list of those things, and then we can figure out what we want to do from there. Presumably that would take a local law to make a change to the zoning law, but they were pretty specific. I don't think the changes were very extensive. Ian?
Over the course of the years that I've been here, there's been a number of issues that have come up regarding vagueness in our code. Some are very routine and common in multiple municipalities, but there's certainly room to be more specific and make enforcement a lot easier, which has been a bit of an issue. So I can also look into what has come up before in the past, see if I have prior notes on that. And
Oh, you mean from stuff that we've discussed as a board, or the board has discussed?
oh, yeah. I mean, this has been going on for the last 6 or 7 years, so this is, at least that I've been here, so.
Yeah, that would be
so
great.
So if we could, I can work with him, or if they present something, and then we'll do like a collective change, so it's not doing it piecemeal. You do a larger and you get it, it's cheaper that way.
Cool.
So,
And then the last thing is just the SAM grant is the one that I mentioned about the sidewalk. We actually we were told what the senator wanted to give us, but you have to go through there are a whole bunch of other stages in terms of approvals. So the money is not ours yet, but that is, should make a difference in terms of the affordability of the sidewalk project, yeah.
Sam Graham wasn't Hinchy, it was,
Oh, that's a totally separate one, I'm sorry.
no. Wasn't through Hinchy's office, it was from.
Anil?
Anil's office.
Oh,
AJ's
okay.
office.
Sorry,
a BPAD.
okay.
Is that the one that requires,
Oh, I'm sorry, because that was the sidewalk and the other one was, the other one was water.
So we did receive the SAM grant, or we didn't?
Yes, we did, and I'm waiting for Ian now to sign his piece of that.
okay, so that was the one that requires a signature from the supervisor as well as an opinion from council.
Did we do a
and
resolution for that one?
I don't,
I think,
Yes,
yeah,
that
it was
like almost a year ago.
It was a long time ago.
Oh,
so what I would just want is just a motion from the board authorizing the supervisor to sign and for me to issue the opinion of council letter.
Which is required.
Which is required by the grant,
To actually
yeah.
get the grant. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
how much was it for?
50,000.
And that's gonna go towards the sidewalk?
Yeah. It's for
All
the
in favor?
sidewalk.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, well, that gets us to the discussion items, so.
What about that last one?
About
That
authorizing
Yeah.
letters.
The SAM one? Am I using an old one again? I hate when that happens.
You're authorizing a letter of support for the Smart Growth Community Plan.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We have, Christy, our grant writer, has been working on obtaining a grant from, okay, I didn't write it down, Dawn.
For Smart Growth Community Planning Grant, CPRC.
Oh, okay, that's for the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee for the next phase of work. It's a grant that Christie has been, thinks is really a terrific match for what CPC is doing next, and it requires a letter of support from the board, so that I wanted to make a motion to see whether people are okay with a letter of support for us to receive a grant from, to receive a grant for that project.
To apply for a grant for that.
To apply for a grant,
Didn't
I'm
we
sorry,
do this
not
at the
receive a
last
grant.
meeting?
I thought we did, because I
Yeah.
remember somebody made a comment about it.
Terrence did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we did this already.
Well, it's possible, I will check. I
Well,
do
but
remember,
just in case we didn't,
Yes,
I'll
that
make
we-
that motion.
Thank you.
okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Again.
Send that letter.
I think that we said yes to applying, I think we didn't say yes
To a letter of
making a
support?
letter of support. I think that's the
Okay.
difference. Okay,
That may be right.
okay. All righty. So, we have a number of resolutions under our consent agenda. Dawn, don't you nearly take this,
I
don't you
do.
typically take this
All right,
piece?
so is there a motion to accept resolution number 75, authorizing CPL architects, engineering, landscape architects, and surveyors to provide a grant writing services in connection with the new highway garage assault storage facility? Resolution number 76, reappointment of a town assessor. Resolution number 77, hiring part-time clerk in the office of the town clerk. Resolution number 78, authorizing the Town of Amenia Board of Ethics to employ legal services. Resolution number 79, authorizing revocable license for the encroachment within a public right-of-way. Resolution number 80, authorizing the release of a security posted in connection with the selective timber harvesting on Deep Hollow Road.
That was very fast, Dawn, I'm impressed. I'll make that motion.
Leo.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
I'm not opposed.
You're not. That's good.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, other matters, Rosanna, you
Okay,
had
I
something.
do have other
know.
matters, I don't, I never am quite sure the difference between other matters and town
Town
board
board
comments.
Oh, well, you can
It
choose.
doesn't matter. Anyway, good news, Eric Dentrone, who's Dutchess County Department of Mental Health, has set up a town hall mental health event, which will be on Wednesday, October 15th, which you'll get further notice on that. It has different components of that. It's about addiction and recovery, adult mental health, youth mental health, and all abilities. He also said that Sue Serino would be there, so it's more like a town hall. And so that is on October 15th. So, we're looking forward to that, as mental health and addiction certainly are issues in the town of Amenia.
Thank you for setting that
The
up.
second thing I wanted to mention is, I'm still hammering away at getting that Dropbox for expired prescriptions. Again, we still have the problem with having somebody who can come pick it up, but there is an interim plan. Andrea has been wonderful. So she's ordered these disposable bags that destroy the medications. And then there's a postpaid envelope that's all anonymous. Just, there's a sticker that goes across it, and you stick it in the mailbox and it gets sent back. So that is kind of an interim thing that will hopefully help people to get rid of prescriptions. She hasn't gotten back to me. Has she gotten back to you? She hasn't gotten back to me yet, whether they're in or not, but she's gonna come out and explain the whole process, and they will be available in town hall. So at least we're getting one step closer.
I have a question or a comment. Sue Serino laughingly calls herself the tick queen of Dutchess County because
What queen?
tick queen.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Lyme
Okay.
disease, all that.
Just imagine
So
that.
she's really done a lot in the county and providing information for people. And I'm just wondering, if within your conversation of mental health and considering that Sue would be here, that could be on her agenda to discuss that. Lyme disease in this area and all the illnesses
And
covered.
I'm always picking
Yeah.
ticks off.
Ticks are
Right,
bad right now.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll find out.
Okay. Any other matters, other
If not, we
matters?
may be able to do that at separate.
Yeah.
Anyone else have other matters? Any town board comments?
Happy 4th and happy anniversary to my husband.
Yeah.
'Cause tomorrow is our anniversary.
What
I
number?
bet there'll be fireworks.
Yeah, yes, 13.
So I got a message a little while ago from a friend that was in traffic on Route 22, said the traffic was backed up beyond the sheriff's substation. coming north.
Was there something, oh, well, the
Traffic.
storm, I
It's a-
guess.
it's a
Traffic
weekend.
light. The traffic was backed up.
Oh,
and
it
all
wasn't just a matter of the storm and everything?
no.
Wow.
It's just traffic.
Interesting. Okay, we're gonna have to have a flyover at some point soon, I'm
We
sure.
should make one of those go-around circles there instead, right?
The only other comment I do have to make is I did sign up for those notifications, and I love it, because I get notifications. I got notification of the heat advisory when Wassaic was having a cooling station. I've gotten notification of the concerts and all the rec things. So I strongly encourage anybody who has not signed up for it to do so. Maybe they should have gotten notification on the storm we just had, because I had incredible hail. Yeah, so I really encourage people to do that, and I think there's still probably time to go on the EngagingAmenia.com site and put in your comments. I think it's really
Right.
important. People really want, the planning board and all of us want all of your input, so please do that.
Actually, I have a question, because I tried signing up, and I don't know if, Charlie, you know the answer to this, but when you get the email to confirm you're signing up, and it brings you back to the webpage, but it didn't say anything, so I don't know if I'm signed up or not.
No, I actually was confused about that too. At the
Okay, so
first
did
time
the
I did
same-
it, I went back and then Charlie apparently filled mine in, so.
Do I have to do it again?
No, send me what you received so that I can see.
Like screenshot it and send it?
You're signed.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that
Just brings you back.
Yeah, it didn't, okay.
Okay, now public comment on all business. I was gonna say, Judy, I would be so disappointed.
Okay, let me see. First and foremost, the playground equipment has been installed at the Beekman Park. It is beautiful. I have to thank DJ, our wonderful town rec people, including Jake Miller, Josh Ahern. All of them worked so hard to spread the mulch out, and I hope everybody runs by and takes a look at it, because it's really nice. That was a home run. That was something that we did that's really good. And with the help of the town board too, because we got a little extra money, so I appreciate that. Let's see. This idea actually came from a friend. As I was pointing out that it's almost a daily occurrence that I see cars run right through the red light at 22 and 44. And he said, you can put cameras on there that catch their license plates. And I happen to think that's a great idea. I read an article about Kathy Hochul has actually spoken to the Hudson Valley area about getting more of these put in to improve safety, but you also can issue tickets. So it's a source of income on top of it all. And if someone has to pay, they're far more likely to care. Whether sending them a note saying you ran a red light, they're going to go like, yeah. If they're running a red light, it's not going to stop them. It's something you might want to talk to
DOT.
the county and DOT and ask them where we go to, because I think that would be great. It's really dangerous there. I don't believe how people drive. The only other thing is on the ADU, couple of things. I understand it's a lot of money to put out right away, but I don't think it's reasonable to say that there's no incentive, because if you create one and you're getting rent, that's kind of an incentive if you need money to help pay your bills. So there is an incentive there. You just got to come up with the money.
That was what I meant in terms of incentive, that there's nothing to help finance, to pay for it.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say is that if you are renting and you're not renting to a relative, I am assuming that since it's a rental, it would be subject to the same laws that any landlord is subject to in terms of not discriminating in any way, etc. So as long as, and I'm not saying discrimination is a good thing, but as long as people are aware of that, you have to be aware of what you're allowed to say, yes, no, I don't want you to, and that's part of the equation, that's all. Well, let me see. I think that was it. Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Anyone else?
Yes, the music series.
Oh, what-
Thank
what-
you,
what
DJ.
music
Oh, my
series?
God.
Oh,
The
good.
music series is starting Monday. hopefully,
Thank
it
you,
looks
teacher.
like it will not be bad weather. I'm brain dead, I'm sorry. It looks like it will not be bad weather. It looks like it will be good, so that'll be nice. However, all of them have been told that if it is bad weather, we're going to just bring it into the auditorium.
Oh,
So
great.
people will still be able to see it.
Good.
And, no, I was going to say, I also wanted to mention the senior picnic,
Yes,
which
okay.
is scheduled for July 26th.
Is that on our website?
It is.
It is,
Yes.
okay.
I
We
think you have
set
to
that
sign
to
up for
have
that as
put
well.
up.
You
Yeah.
have to sign up for it.
This,
Yes, we would ask that people register, only so that we're sure how many people are coming. I mean, we're planning ahead for saying up to 80 people, but we don't want to wind up with tons of food left over, or even worse, not enough to feed people if
Right.
we get
And you
more
have to
than
get the
that.
right number of
So-
ants.
Yeah, so it would be nice if people can just go, you just send an email to recreation@ameniany.gov so that we have an idea of how many people are coming.
Great.
And we won't kick you out if you walk through at the end, though.
I have a odd question, which I know is not odd for me, but if there is a rain event and the concert has to come inside, where does that bring the alcohol issue?
Interesting question.
Oh, we've never had to deal with that.
I mean, typically, we don't allow alcohol at events in town hall, right?
But we waived
co-
it for this
correct.
event.
Right.
But you waived it, yeah, it technically was waived for
The
uh,
event,
the event at the,
park, basketball court.
well, this is where words matter. We have to go back to the exact resolution to see exactly what it said.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I don't recall exactly what it said.
just said the event because, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Park rules.
because I asked. and I
For
thought to
suspending
myself,
park
okay,
rules.
Is it any park?
Oh, right,
I mean,
park
so
rules,
we
you're right.
Suspended park rules.
Yeah,
Say park is gonna be allowed?
So arguably, this is then going to be held in town hall,
right, okay.
So then there's
not.
But if it's
at the
inside, it's
park.
not a park. I mean, if it's in the building, it's not a park.
So it
So
would,
if it has to be moved inside, there's no alcohol.
as it stands
It's
now.
that- It's that simple, yeah.
Sorry, but I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Okay. Well, I know you're all very disappointed that we didn't spend more that we didn't spend more time here, but thank you to everyone for
Oh.
coming. Oop,
Do
what?
we need to go into executive session
Yeah.
to finish?
Oh, you
Yeah.
have more
Yes.
stuff, okay. I move that we go into executive session. I also, again, want to thank Jeff for being back there, and Matthew for diligently learning the system, and a whole lot of work, and it's going to be very exciting to have this all up and running. And, oh, and we're going to go back to being on Channel 22. Jeff ordered the part that allows us to do that. I mean, I think it's here already, but I
I
mean,
do
it's going to get...
want to
hooked up.
say that my husband did let me know, he said the video and audio was great, so
Wow,
Yes.
okay, that's nice to hear.
if he's happy, that's a good thing.
Okay, well, I'm glad that we got feedback
Sorry,
on
I
this.
And we're not coming back into public session, correct?
Well, we will
Just to
have to
close.
exit to go into
close.
public session to close.
Yeah.
But there's
But we don't have to do it this
no
way.
action going to be taken.
Okay.
So Leah's making a motion to go into executive session. Is there a
wondered what
second?
I
I'll
was doing.
second.
Thank you, Nicole. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yay.
My question is, did